Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 605. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is the 7th of February, 2023. Laura and I both use the she, her pronouns. And I am picking up loose stitches for a cuff.
So that was a sock tube that you ripped back a couple inches on, or
well, in this case,
just a smidge?
I split the tube, and this is I snipped one stitch, just like you would for an afterthought heel, and just pulled it apart. So this is the other half of the tube.
Gotcha.
So I still got to put a heel in the other one, but figured I should probably pick up these loose stitches first.
Well, I can go first.
That's
since
probably
you're
a good idea.
Busy with that. I am still knitting on my Knit Spin Farm socks. I thought I was just about ready to start the ribbing on the cuff, and then I realized no, that this is actually down there. So I do have one more pattern repeat. I've done one pattern repeat this month, but yeah, I'm down there. I'm like, which one is it? No, I'm down there. So I've done one pattern repeat this week. So I have like 1.5 to go, and then these will be done. I'm going to work on these while we record to try to make some progress. I am a smidge worried about yarn because I have this much left and almost 2 repeats to go, but we'll see.
I have yarn.
Yeah, you do have yarn. I'm less worried because Leslie also has yarn. So that is my first thing in progress. My second thing in progress is my other sock that got a couple rows and not a ton since the last time you saw it. But this is out of Woolens and Nosh. This is the first sock, and it is their her Advent colorway. And I'm just knitting toe-up socks. I put in a garter stitch short row heel from Knit Confident, and I'm just gonna go up and start working on the cuff. So that got a smidge of work. These are knit on size 0s. These are knit on size 1s. And this is fingering weight, whereas the Knit Spin Farm Targhee, both of these are Targhee though, is a sport weight. So substantially a little bit more thick. The other thing that I have on the needles, although Pearl tried to take it off, I did not have it in a bag, and it was sitting where Pearl wanted to lay down.
To be fair, she doesn't typically get into your knitting.
She does not, but if it's where she wants to lay, she will knock it off the couch, because obviously that is where she needs to be. I did not get quite an inch done, but I did make some progress. I got around 6 rounds knit on it. So that is my Weekender Light out of another Crafty Girl yarn, which is so pretty, and I'm knitting that on size 3 needles, and we'll be going around and around and around for around probably 13 more inches before I divide for the sleeves. Leslie came over and measured me because it's good to get updated. I hadn't been measured since pre-COVID. So it's good, since I'm knitting sweaters, to get remeasured, because I had grown some inches in some different areas. So this should still fit. So I'm excited about that because of the amount of ease that's built into this sweater. And I'm alternating skeins as well. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just going to be round and round and round for quite a while of time. And that is it for me for works in progress. I do have a finished item that I will show you all in a little bit. Do you need me to talk for a couple more seconds?
I've got 5 more stitches.
5 more stitches.
Yeah.
It's interesting to try the 2 different Targhee bases because, you know, one's fingering, one's sport.
Alright. So the only work in progress that I have right now are these socks. This is white birch.
Yep. Fiber Arts.
Yeah, I don't remember the colorway name, but Yeah, so I've already finished, or not finished. I put a heel and a toe and ribbing in one of the tubes, and I still got to put a heel in, and I've got a toe, and I just picked up for the ribbing in the second one.
And those are fingering weight, and what size needles are you using?
I use size 1, 2.25 millimeter, and I'm using a coordinating. It's unintentionally coordinating. It's just what I happen to have nearby in a fingering weight. It's left over from wrought iron.
Oh, okay.
It's Sadie's yarn, Knitter's
Aww.
Nightmare. I forget the colorway name. And it's living in my Rick
Whimsy Stitches
bag.
He's got a cute Mardi Gras bag thing going on.
That's fitting, being in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything else on the needles, but I have a couple of ideas. So I'm going to Vegas next week for a work thing. Unfortunately, I have zero spare time for any sort of meetup. I was hoping to be able to do that, but I have been voluntold that I'm going to work dinners.
That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be at nice restaurants and I don't have to pay, which is good, but like it's socializing.
It's still work, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have any spare time, unfortunately. But this is everything that's left that I bought
from SSK?
Nice. So,
you lost a project bag.
This is the only fiber. No, it's not. This is from Way. Colorway.
She's going to be at Maryland this year.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
super stoked about that.
So, yeah, this is Superfine Merino. So
cool.
I need to spin that. And then the other is the other 4 ounces, the last 4 ounces of hip strings. I bought a pound from Hip Strings in 2 different colorways. So this is the last 4 ounces of that. So that'll go on the wheel. And then the rest is yarn. So it's all fingering weight except this one from another crafty girl. This is her, the same colorway.
That's what I'm knitting, yeah.
But this is in sport weight, I think.
Yep, all my friends is the colorway that I'm knitting.
Yep, sport weight. So
cool.
This will be something else, a hat or maybe mitts. I really want some mitts.
Ooh, mitts are a good idea.
So this is the only sport weight.
And that'll be nice, cheerful mitts.
And then I'm trying to really knit from my queue as well as use stuff that I've got in my stash. So I'm either going to knit a foolproof, which I've knit a couple times, and it's easy and it's wearable and
it's a cowl.
Yeah, it's a cowl that you sort of start like a top-down triangular shawl, and
that would be good out of the way fiber actually.
You can do stripes and stuff like that, dude. I'm considering it done when it's spun. I'm not going through to the knitting part. But I also want to knit parachutey. Someone wore it this past year at SSK,
Lynn wore it,
and it looked great.
Yeah.
And that takes 2.5-ish to 3 skeins of fingering weight, and like you can do multiple colors, or you can do all one color, or whatever, right? Or there's a different 2-color shawl that I might get. So this
do parachutey.
Is a set that Rick put together for me because I wanted her high contrast. So this is pretty high contrast.
Yeah.
So this will be like a 2-color shawl or something. One of those ones where you use minis.
Like an Amba O'Brien.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not too worried about this because this, like, I can pick something relatively quickly for that. But the rest, I have 6 skeins left. 2 are the same. This is pearlescent from Colorway.
That's pretty.
And this is 80/20 merino nylon, so I think it's like, it's 400 yards each, so it's 800 yards, so I could do a bigger something.
I say put that in a parachutey.
But I also have this left. So I really like this, and I actually couldn't find any more in her shop because I was going to see if there was any more. But this is like a boucle or slub yarn in the fingering weight.
It's a slub. Yep.
And it's a sort of a turquoise, well, more like a teal-y kind of color. In her head, she's disagreeing with me. We always disagree on color.
No, that's teal. I say teal or turquoise.
But this is Geektastic Fibers. I don't know if she still carries it or if it was just like a spur-of-the-moment thing that she had at SSK. I'm not sure. But I really like it. I'm just not sure what I want to do with it because it's very textured.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who use that slub base.
So I found some other dyers that use it. So because I didn't want to go up the stairs and look and see what weight it was. I was pretty sure it was fingering.
I think Suburban Stitcher was dyeing it for a while.
I found several.
Yeah.
So that way I could at least get the weight of it.
Ooh, I've got an idea for that.
What?
So, like, the center panel for a Sheena Lines Designs.
A recalibrate.
Recalibrate.
That's one of my other options, is a recalibrate. The only reason I'm hesitating is because I've already knit it and I do have a lot of other things. But I do like the recalibrate.
And I think that would be good travel knitting because it's very
modular.
modular and very chill.
The only thing is I would need colors to go with it, and aside from the gray, I'm not certain what else would go with it. So
there's turquoise in that. What's that? The Urban Girl.
Yeah, so these are the other ones. This is my Plies and Hellhounds. This is sort of a sparkly, leathery color. I really like it. It's called Leather Bound. And then I've got another Urban Girl yarns, and this one is in...
That's City Slicker.
Yep,
City Slicker. That's such a good colorway.
So it's got, like, it's gray, but with hints of other colors.
It's got that turquoise in it.
Little pops of colors, yeah. And then, but I would need one more skein of something. Like, I would need 3 skeins to do it recalibrate.
So you could use the turquoise for the panels, like both the front, the back, and the sides, and use that, and then pick up, like, that orange, and do some stripes out of that, or the yellow. Or the green.
But I don't have SSK yarn in that color. That's what I'm trying to use up all my SSK.
But you can also pull from what you already have. No, you can only use SSK for this.
No, not necessarily.
I was like, this seems very limiting.
I probably have, like, half skeins. I've got, a giant bag.
You also have a
like,
ton of
half
minis.
skeins.
Oh, those minis right there. Grab those. The evil goat
That's
ones.
so many colors, though.
No, but you don't have to use all of them.
But if I don't, then that's not enough yarn.
But this is a larger skein.
Yeah, it's almost 500 yards. But, so I have 2 skeins of, they're just not, these 2 together aren't quite contrasty enough.
Yeah.
I don't think. So they're both Virginia base. This is City Slicker, and this one is the Duke of Hotness, which is a Bridgerton reference, I guess.
Yeah.
I have never watched Bridgerton.
So that's 480.
So if, like, this went with my turquoise, that's 3 colors, but these are 2 very strong colors together.
I don't like the brown with that. I would pick up some of the other, like that orangey red would be perfect.
I just feel like they're too strong together.
Well, I like the turquoise and the brown together.
Yeah,
but
then
then
you
you
have
have
strong.
less.
Yeah. It's too, like, they're not contrasty enough because the values are too close. At least that's my, like, gut feeling. So,
Okay.
I'm going to play around and see if I can find something maybe in my, like, scrap bag that will coordinate with these 2, maybe. Because I would like to have something chosen. Choosing is the hardest part for me. So, yeah. That's what I'm trying to decide between.
I feel like that bin right there has some options.
I mean, every bin in this room has got options. It's just, am I willing to dig them out? Although, if you have suggestions for, like, a not super complicated, maybe garter stitch sport weight knit for my Another Crafty Girl, it would save me having to search for something. Alright. That's my bag of stuff. You said you had an FO, right?
I do. I have a Sheena Lines Designs headband. It is the Day Hike headband. I knit it at,
oh yeah.
I knit it over my Ice Storm break. So these were minis from Hobbly Hoy, and she used to sell her minis in like 2-ounce increments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can get 2 headbands out of that. But
is this like Rare Books or something books color? I feel like
not this one.
Oh.
I do have a bunch of her book colorways, though she did like different. I can't remember this one, but she did different
themes,
genres.
Oh, of books.
Yeah. So she had like sci-fi batlings and all that jazz. So she had banned books was one of them. But I wanted something, I wanted a headband because I have been, I've got outside duty at work, and so I wanted something that would cover my ears, and just I could throw it on at work and just, you know, do my thing. So I knit these. The pattern has either DK or fingering weight options. It also has a cowl option. And I used fingering weight on size 1 needles. It has a provisional cast on. I did Judy's Magic Cast On as my provisional cast on. And then what I used for my needles were the little Addy flexi flips, because it's such a small diameter. I could just work back and forth on those. And I used the third one as a holder for my live stitches at the bottom. So it wasn't like a super fast project. It was an easy project, but because it was on size 1s, it did take a little bit of time.
Oh my God.
But it is squishy because it's woolen yarn, and it just makes me happy.
I didn't realize you knit those on 1s.
Yep. I love the disdain in your voice.
It's just like, the idea is so appalling to me.
So yeah, I like it. It's a cute little headband. I'm gonna make some more, and it's a great way to use up some hand spun. Especially, you know, if you have bits and bobs of hand spun. So that is my one finished object, and it's got a ton of wear so far. So that is my finished objects knit-wise for the week. I do have some spinning that I can show.
I've got knit finished objects.
Good. Yeah, you have multiple knit finished objects because you're amazing.
Well, I was just close to the end on several things, so I should probably take these off. And this is still damp. I hung it to dry last night, but it did not finish.
Things have not been drying in my house. Our humidity level's been very high recently.
I thought I had another one, but I guess not. So I finished my Marsha P. Johnson. Every time I'm like, is it this one the right one, or is that one the right one? So Marsha P. Johnson hat, and the color, or the yarn is from
Urban Girl
Yarn.
She's vending at Vogue Live in New York City.
Ooh, fun.
So if you see her, A, tell her we said hi because we love Sheila. She's amazing. And B, go buy her yarn because it's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's great yarn.
She does a lot of like pride related colorways and woman-owned business. I like her stuff. So yeah, so this is the sock head hat. You can see how the color sort of flashed around.
I love it.
It's got a 4-inch cuff, and it's wet, or I will put it on. You could see it's slouchy by design. I did it right to the 9 inches, and then 9 inches from the cuff, and then did the decreases while I was watching Pamela, A Love Story, a documentary on Pamela Lee on Netflix. It's actually really good.
Pamela Anderson, right?
Pamela Anderson Lee.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of things I've watched, if you are a fan of sci-fi, there's a show on HBO Max called This Is Us, which is apparently based off a video game, which, new to me, because if it's not Mario or like Kirby level, I don't really play video games. But the concept is, it's like post-apocalyptic, and this fungus has sort of spread through the world, and disastrous things happen. So, but the third episode
has your boy
Nick Offerman was in it, and I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, because it is really wonderful, and you can watch it standalone from the rest of the series. It's its own story, but it's Nick Offerman, and how he deals with the end of the world, and he meets someone, and the portrayal is just, it's amazing. I was just crying. And then I went online and looked, and apparently, like, everybody thinks that, and I thought I was, like, special, but I'm not. But, I wouldn't have thought Nick Offerman could do, like, heart-wrenching that way, but he does a great job. But yeah, so I watched that, and then I also finished, pull this up, I also finished my Bloom, Blume top out of camellia yarn and the flax fingering.
Did you spin out the water on that?
No, I wrung it out.
I wonder if we
I
spin out the
rolled it
water.
in a towel and then stood on a towel to like
Okay.
get it as light as I possibly could before I hung it up. And I hung it over this to dry so that it would, get the right shape. So it's finished and it's really pretty and it's really soft. Like I'm very happy with how it drapes and feels. It's very, like, I don't think it's 40% alpaca, but I really don't think it would add any like heat. The only thing is it's too big, which is probably my fault. I didn't do a very big gauge swatch, and when I did, knowing the drape that this would have, I probably should have like weighted it a little bit, hung it with a little bit of like a clothespin on the end or something to weight it down. So
it's really pretty.
It's a little, I say it's a little big. It's actually really big on me. I say really big. It's noticeably too large for me. So
in length more or
no, in like width.
Okay.
Like it looks like I'm wearing my mom's clothes or something. It's very clearly not fitting me. So, and that's fine. Like that happens, right? There's absolutely no point in getting upset about it. I'm absolutely not going to rip this out because this is SSK yarn done. So, so this will go with me to SSK and it'll go in the try it on room. And if someone loves it, then they'll take it home. And that's typically what I try. I try not to like be precious about stuff because it's just stuff.
Yeah.
So I've gotten some great like trades over the years with people who want to, love an item and take it home and then.
Oh, I wonder if it'll fit Emily. Maybe. It's not really Emily's colors though, but it's pretty.
But if it's a finished thing,
so
it's got a lot of like weight behind it.
So pretty.
So yeah, it'll go in the try it on room. If it fits someone and they love it, then great, they can take it home. So it's finished and I'm happy.
Yay.
And then the other finished thing that I did was a sewing. I sewed my top that I'm wearing.
It's super cute.
It's relatively simple. It's just a plain woven top with little pockets. And it's got turned facings. Facings are like the bane of my existence because they take so long and you got to press them down between every step. And, they look great, don't get me wrong, but it's such a pain to do them. So yeah, this is the Alani top from Style Arc. This and all the stuff that we talk about is linked in our show notes. And our show notes are on our website, which is TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com. I really want to steal your Woolens and Nosh Advent kit. It's very pretty.
I know. It is very pretty.
But
we'll have to get you one next year.
Maybe. Not because I don't love it, but because I'm really trying to be careful with what I bring in.
Maybe that could be your SSK purchase from her.
Oh yeah, if she's selling them at that point, then yeah.
Yeah, she sells them pretty early on.
I did ply the one bobbin that I remembered to bring home.
Look at you. I almost brought your other one because I wanted to put that wheel away, but I didn't.
It's fine.
I figured you could get it this weekend.
Or at Knit.
Yeah, are you coming tomorrow?
God, it's tomorrow already. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I plan to.
I said that same thing when I looked at my kitchen. I was like, man, I gotta clean because I got people coming over tomorrow.
Yeah, so I wound it all off on an Indian plying tool and then ply them all end to end. So I've got days 1 through 13 done, so then I'll have to wind off all the others and do that. But it's a pretty quick process once you get started.
Cool.
That's it.
That's it. I have some spinning. So I spent the majority of my ice storm, and then Pearl laid on it, and it's all jumbled because I did not do a great job with ties. Learning how to spin linen. So this is 100% linen. I purchased linen top from Hip Strings.
And if I remember, Laura explained this to me, but if I remember right, linen is the finished product of spinning flax. Flax is the raw material.
Yes. Okay. That is correct.
Because we had a conversation about this last week.
Or a couple weeks ago, yeah. So when it's in the fiber form, it's flax. Once twist has been added, it is linen. I beat the crap out of this after I finished it, but let me go in order. So
I'm just picturing you at your house, just flapping the daylights out of it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I added too much twist, but that's okay. It's a learning process. I only spun 2 ounces at first, so I could swatch it and learn from it.
Yeah.
So this is linen, 100% linen, and it's, the way you spin linen is you spin it wet, or one of the preferred ways of spinning flax into linen is to spin it wet. So I was wetting my hands as I spun the singles, and then as I plied, I used a baby humidifier because a lot of people run them over a sponge, and I don't have a sponge in my house.
Because of other issues.
Because of some issues that I have with...
I have like tactile.
Yeah, I don't like sponges. I use scrubbies, but I don't use sponges.
Do you just throw them in the...
I don't have them in my house, Leslie.
No, I mean scrubbies.
Oh.
I was going to say, because like you can throw them in the dishwasher and get them sanitized.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. I thought we were back to sponges.
No,
I was like, no,
I'm aware after 15 years of friendship that you do not do sponges.
So I bought a baby humidifier on...
It's like this. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's more ridiculous than the Care Bear Igloo. Or the...
Rainbow Bright bag?
That's the thing. I was like, the bag with the thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
But we all have things that make us happy.
Yeah. Anyway. I'm a child of the 80s. But I ran this over a humidifier as I was playing. It was a cool air humidifier. Excuse me, I have a cough this week. And one other thing about flax is you spin it the opposite direction that you would spin yarn. So instead of wool. So when I spin wool, I spin clockwise and then ply counterclockwise. With flax, you spin counterclockwise and then ply clockwise. It keeps the fibers more tucked in, apparently.
So typically you're adding S twist and plying with Z.
Mm-hmm.
But you spun in Z and plied with S.
Yep. So,
and that's just like the direction of your wheel that's turning.
Yep. In your flyer.
Yeah.
And so I soaked it, and then I took it out back and beat it against a brick wall.
You beat the crap out of it.
And then hung it to dry, and then laid on it like it was a little egg for a while. So it's seen some things. I don't think it's super, like, it doesn't feel like cording.
No, I think you're right. I think you just added a little too much twist at the ply level. That's my guess anyway. You would know better than me. Mm. But I mean, I don't think it's not rough or anything.
No, I think it'll be okay once I knit it. I think because I am a throw. Yep, it goes back in the opposite direction, so it'll take out some of that ply twist. So we're gonna see.
Yeah,
it's an experiment. Yeah, so am I ever going to be a professional linen spinner or plant fiber spinner? Probably not. This was a lot more easy than the cotton that I spun a couple months ago, and I have some more cotton to spin, just because we live in a climate where those fibers excel, both in growing and wearing. So I do want to add more blends and stuff to my collection. It did make me think maybe I should be spinning linen blends the opposite direction.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I am going to play. I'm going to swatch this up and see. And I'll show you a very exciting swatch next week.
What size needles are you going to swatch that on? Roughly, like
probably 3s. Maybe 4s. Probably 3s. It's hard. So linen is such a dense fiber too. Of this 2 ounces, I only got around 90 yards.
Yeah. Because there's like no air in it. It's all fiber.
Yeah. It's very dense. So also, I'm going to end up hand winding it. This might be a Leslie winding project.
I will happily do that.
Because she likes winding things. Yeah, when I started beating it, like, parts came off, and I was like, well, that tie wasn't great.
You can just leave that with me, and I will hand wind it on a Nostipin.
Okay. Or you can do it at my house tomorrow if you want.
I've got stuff to do tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll do this while I'm watching TV.
Okay. So that is the first spinning. The second spinning is I finished my sweater spin.
It's so pretty.
So my next big spin is also a sweater spin, so you won't be seeing, I'm going to apply the stuff that's in the show notes, but y'all won't be seeing a lot of smaller skeins for me because the next one is a pound spin. This one was 12.5 ounces, so there's around 6.25 on this bobbin and 6.25 on another bobbin. This was Hello Yarn that I've had in this. It was a one-of-a-kind colorway that I've had for years and years and years. So it's nice to get out of the stash. And it's a substantial amount of fiber. So the plan for this, if it works with gauge, is the sideways cross crop. It also depends if I got, it's a Cordale, so it is also a little bit of a denser wool. So we'll see if I got enough yardage as well. But I might do shorter sleeves. Or I might do something like the James Watts new sweater.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely have fingering weight options or even sport weight options with this. So it will be a crop sweater of some kind. And then I did ply. Look how squishy that is. So this is the Inglenook. And it is 25% Shetland, 40% merino, 25% silk, 10% tweed. This is not one that they dye in-house. This is a blend that I think it's World of Wool makes for them. And when I took it out of the water was like black. So
I
it
feel
did
like
lose
this was
a good
not
bit.
probably fun to spin.
No, it was terrible to
but
spin.
It is so freaking happy. Like,
yeah, it's so pretty.
It looks like if Harrisville's like nightshades went to a Sari silk factory and just things
and had a rave.
Things got real dicey. Like, it's really pretty.
It has a lot of Sari silk and it has a lot of texture in it, and that's fine. Like, my original plan was to buy a sweater's lot of that and knit
God, that's so I would do a lot for a sweater's lot of this.
So that bulky sweater, what is it called? I knit the there's two versions. There's a cardigan and then there's just a pullover, and I knit the pullover out of cotton a couple years ago. Anyway,
I have no recollection of this.
Yeah, like, this would be an amazing sweater, but spinning for this sweater would kill my soul.
I would like it in like a big, chunky grandpa cable cardigan with this.
That would be so
That
heavy.
would make me so happy.
So this is 6 ounces, and it is 165 yards. Like, it's going to be a cowl of some kind. Like a big, oversized, chunky cowl. But there's no way that I could get... No. And the problem with the spinning of it was Sari silk. It's really hard to draft, and I tried this 2 ways. So on a fiber that is more blended, sometimes you can spin from the folds, and that'll help like keep all the fibers kind of like sorted and make it an easier spinning experience. But sometimes when you do that, all the everything gets, if it's a chunky, not super well blended blend, all the like stuff is just chunked. So it was like huge chunks of Sari silk, and I was like, nope. That by itself is not a pleasant wearing experience either.
Yeah.
And then those bits of texture, that white textury tweed.
What makes it great to look at makes it a pain to spin.
Yeah.
It's like knitting stockinette in the round. It's relatively mindless. You can have a conversation depending on what you're doing. You can watch TV, you can do other things, but this is more like knitting a cabled lace garment. Like, you have to constantly pay attention to what you're doing.
It's like knitting like a boucle or like your slub yarn where like the texture is changing all the time, and you kind of really have to think about it.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy Lois gifted me 6 ounces so I could try it before I purchased a whole sweaters lot. That was very sweet of her, and it's going to be an incredible cowl, but it is not going to be a sweater for me. Which is fine. Like, that would be also a very heavy sweater because I
And
would
there might be
need...
someone out there who loves spinning something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
But, like, so that's 6 ounces. I would probably need 8 more skeins like that. 8 times 6 is 48. That's almost 3 pounds of fiber. That would be a very heavy sweater.
Can you see me trying to do math in my head? 32. That is 3 pounds.
Yeah. So, yeah, dividing by 16 is not my fave.
I feel like this is where that meme of the girl with the math, like all those equations.
I had to sub in a math class today, and they were like, "We need you to walk us through that," and I was like, "Or you can sit and read."
Google it, friends.
No. You can sit and read, because I don't want them on devices. Because if they're on devices, they're either like they can't have their phones out because it's problematic, and then if they're on their devices, a lot of times they'll be playing like Fortnite or Minecraft or.
You're like tech people can't block that. Never mind. So books. What are you reading?
So I read a really good male adult science fiction book called Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I was like, Leslie, I read this book. I think you'd like it. And she's like, I talked about that on the podcast 2 months ago. So
and Laura's like, I never listen to you. I'm like, I never listen to you.
There you go. If you like the Innkeeper series by Alana Andrews, more like the mod vampire house aspect, kind of gives me that kind of like world building vibes where there's a lot of politics involved. Kind of almost like a Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy aspects as well, where there's different races that are trying to destroy each other. And then it has a very subtle but sweet love story that comes through. So I really, really enjoyed it. It was a nice break from Hidden Legacy. I'm going to go back to that. I've been on a book abandoning binge, which is very much not like me. I don't have problems abandoning books, but when I catch myself in these moods where I abandon like 10 in a row, I gotta reassess and think, hey, what's going on?
What am I looking for?
And also like maybe this just isn't the time to read.
Yeah.
So this was the one book that kind of made it through, that I made through all the way. Although I have a new Mercedes Lackey epic fantasy to read, so I might hit that next before it expires from the library, which is where I got Winter's Orbit from my public library. So, yep. And I finished the 3rd Hidden Legacy book, and I've been watching Will Trent. I lost internet for quite a while during the ice storm, so I listened to some audiobooks and abandoned them as well. Yeah, so I'll get there. It's just finding the right thing.
I abandoned The House Switch because it just wasn't what I was looking for. And instead I'm reading Rogue's Pawn, which is by Jeff Kennedy. I'm a big fan of Jeff Kennedy in general. I like a lot of their books. This was a new-ish series I hadn't read yet, so I'm about 3/4 of the way through the first book. It's fantasy, male-female, romance. A woman from like modern society magically gets transported to like fairy.
Nope.
Is that like a deal breaker for you?
It's better. I thought you were gonna say back in time. It's better than a time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
They're ending the Outlander show. Are you sad?
No. Do you not remember my Outlander recaps from like 7-8 years ago?
Those were my favorite. That's why that made me think of that.
No, I there's like 2 seasons of it that I haven't watched. Once they got to like the West Indies, it stopped being the show I liked. So I'm reading that. I'm still listening to You Just Need to Lose Weight, but I'm saving it for travel. And then I'm listening to the Throne of Glass series. I've gotten all the way through, except the very last book wasn't published, so I'm re-listening. I'm on the third one.
Are you doing like 2 times speed?
No. I've been doing a lot of like sewing and knitting. Every time I take the dog out and I have to throw the ball 1,000 times, I'm listening to an audio book.
Okay.
Like, I find time to listen to several hours worth a day usually. And depending on what I'm doing at work, if it's just like data entry style stuff, I can do that. But
I have a ton of Demon Slayer books to cover at work, and I plan on listening to, although I've been listening to music. Although the 7th graders yesterday told me I'm no longer allowed to listen to Queen because it sounds like gospel music. And I was like,
oh,
children. Okay.
Gen Z.
Nope.
They're the
Alpha.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm listening to that. Like I said, as far as like what I've been watching, I talked about The Last of Us, which as a post-apocalyptic series is pretty good, but that 3rd episode, if you like Nick Offerman, you absolutely should watch it. I was watching Veep, but now I'm at the point where like she's out of office and she's running for office again, and it's like a lot of the same things over and over, so I might abandon that as well.
I think it's coming back.
Oh, is it?
I feel like I heard that. I don't know. A lot of stuff is coming back that I'm like, oh, okay.
John Oliver's show.
Yes, that is actually something that I'm excited about.
So, yeah.
Last week tonight,
yes. There was, I try to watch SNL after it's aired. I'll watch it on YouTube because Michael pays for the
YouTube TV
premium or whatever, so I don't have to watch commercials. And Pedro Pascal was on there this past week. He most famously is known for Game of Thrones, but he's also in The Last of Us, which is pretty good. So, and there were some really good, where they broke character a couple times because they just couldn't stop laughing. It was really good. SNL is hit or miss, but it was pretty good this week.
I took a class this past Saturday with Kim McBrien Evans.
I was ordered to take measurements.
Who is Indigo Dragonfly, and it was an excellent class. It was fitting yoke sweaters, like how to make yoke sweaters fit your body, or how to adjust your yoke sweaters to fit your measurements, and it was excellent. I purchased her book, and I purchased some patterns from her, and I'm looking forward to knitting some of her things. She has a sweater Zoom the 1st and 3rd Mondays of the month where you can go ask her like sweater questions and stuff, which I thought was very cool.
Is it part of like a Patreon or just open?
I think it's just open to everyone. So everyone in her Rave group / has taken a class or whatever. I really enjoyed her class. I would take it again. I did not enjoy Interweave as a platform though, so I will not be taking a class with them again. They were having tech issues, which I forgive, but then they never emailed people.
Right.
I contacted them through their help because I had been sitting in a waiting room for 10 minutes past the start of the class. And they don't let you log in more than 5 minutes ahead of time, which is fine as long as you have someone there to be like, hey, no one's in here. What's going on? And then 30 minutes after the class had started, they finally sent out an email saying, oh, if you're still struggling, here's the link to get in. The class is recorded, so I'm going to watch it again. And I was one of the first people in because I had actually emailed them because I was like in panic mode. And I just don't enjoy that feeling. That's not a great start to a class for me. And there were a couple other little things that I was not, that were out of Kim's control, that were definitely Interweave platform, that were not my fave. So I won't be taking a class with them before, but Kim is teaching at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So if I'm able to take a class from her, I will absolutely do that because she's got some great sweater fit and shawl classes and a lot of really cool stuff going on.
I've been interested in taking a class from her because she's a plus size person and she designs with that in mind, and I would think she does it pretty well. I haven't knit any of her patterns yet though, so I'm interested to see the book.
Absolutely. So yeah, And it's a lot of math, but it's math that is doable for someone who can't divide by 16. So
I can't, I just have to do it very
that was
slowly.
me. I didn't even attempt, and I should have, because, most things that are divisible, every other thing that is divisible by 8 is divisible by 16. But, yeah, nope. So that was my big thing that I did this past weekend, besides learn how to spin linen. So yeah, that's it for me. Do you have anything else?
Not really. Like I said, I'll be out of town next week, so I'll have to record
Yeah.
like Saturday night or early Sunday, so I can get things done before I have to leave. I bought myself an extra ticket with Southwest for their with their customer of size policy, so I could probably get away with not buying a second ticket. I'm a large person, right? And flying is uncomfortable, even for straight-sized people, because airlines are businesses and they're
seats are small,
trying to make a profit, so they cram as many seats in there as they can. And they're 17 and a half inches wide in most cases. This is a thing I actually did research on. And my company, paid for the flight, but then I contacted Southwest and said, can I purchase an additional seat? Because their policy is you can wait and you can go to the gate, and if there are still open seats, they'll give you one for free. But I didn't want to risk that there wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I paid for it ahead of time, and then after the flights, you can call them and get a refund for that extra seat.
Oh, cool.
So I will be able to, not be squished on top of, because for me to not encroach on the person next to me, I have to physically cross my arms like this on top of my breasts and push them down. And for 5 minutes, okay. But for hours and hours, it's not comfortable. So,
see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. It will be weird, I think, but you have to advocate for yourself. So
yeah, absolutely. No one else is going to advocate for you.
I think that's it. I don't really have anything else to talk about. Hopefully, I will have chosen a project by the next time that we talk.
Yeah, we have the SSK. I have the SSK Zoom Thursday nights. So if you are attending SSK and want to join us for the Zoom, I will see you there. Jillian's gonna join us this week. Tian was in there, and Shayna's been in a bunch of them. So
great.
It's been super duper fun to see people, and some of our teachers even pop in. That's super kind as well.
It is definitely not something they're obligated to.
No.
So we appreciate
absolutely not. Because we are not paying them for that time, so it's super nice that they are taking that upon themselves. And I think that's I'll get with you and see what other vendors we can announce.
I've got a couple of contracts that came in over there, so
cool. And yeah, I'll get those up on the website as well as on Discord now that we have a substantial number. So yeah, that's exciting.
So I hope you guys enjoy your week. We will talk to you again before the week's out.
Yep. Bye y'all.